The late summer sun hung low, casting golden streaks across my driveway, when the roar of an engine startled me from my porch chair. I was 5 months pregnant, drinking iced tea, enjoying the silence of our new home, when a silver SUV barreled through our property as if it owned the place. I blinked, assuming it was a lost delivery driver. But then another car came, then another. My heart fell. This wasn't a mistake. Height was an invasion. My husband Ethan and I had relocated here in July 2024 in pursuit of a dream of peace and seclusion. We'd discovered it in this remote house at the end of a tree-lined street with a long driveway that guaranteed solitude. Now that refuge was under attack, the perpetrator, Diane Harper, the vice president of the HOA, a woman whose sense of entitlement could be matched only by a dictator's, she decreed our private driveway was the neighborhood's personal shortcut. And when I stood my ground, she called 911, spinning lies to make me look like a criminal. What followed was a battle of wheels that left her embarrassed and our community irreparably altered. Ethan and I had spent years fantasizing about a place like this. The 2020 lockdown turned remote work our reality. So we sold our small city apartment and purchased this gym, a house with a wraparound porch, a backyard ideal for a future swing set, and the type of silence that was like a hug. As newlyweds, anticipating our first child, we'd searched listings for a house to begin our family. And this was it. A neighborhood saturated with character, where you could imagine kids riding bicycles and neighbors saying hello. But character came with a price. Our property shared a border with an HOA community. And years ago, an old paved path connected our driveway to their roads. It hadn't been public since the 1950s, a detail we never thought twice about until Diane and her minions began treating our land like a freeway. It started small. One afternoon, I waved down a driver cutting through. "Everyone's used this road forever," she snapped before speeding away. I was shocked. Then I noticed Diane's HOA stickered sedan cruising through, ignoring our private property sign. I chased her down on our ATV, heart racing, and asked why she was on our land. "It's convenient," she said, smirking. "This was public in the 50s, so it's fine." I pointed to the sign, voice firm. "This is private, now stay off." She rolled her eyes, muttering about my attitude, and drove away. That night I sat with Ethan at our kitchen table, my tea cold, my hands trembling. "They think they own our driveway," I said, voice breaking. She acted like I'm the problem. Ethan's jaw clenched. "This is where we live, Mia. They don't get to choose what's ours." His words grounded me, but fear gnawed at my center. With the child coming, this was not the battle I had wanted. The intrusions became brazen, cars ravaged through daily, some drivers apologizing, others sneering as if I were a gatekeeper gone amok. One morning I awakened to find an SUV stranded in our yard, its tires shredding our new grass. The driver shrugged. "It's just grass." Rage burst through me. This wasn't about conveniency. It was about respect, or the lack of it. Ethan and I put in a solid gate and mourned no trespassing signs in the hope to put an end to the trespassing. For a week it worked. Then Diane had her revenge. I was folding onesies in the nursery when frustrated honking cut through the evening. Ethan was working, and my pulse raced. Look out, differentiation. Look out. I saw Diane by the gate, her white SUV idling her posture, exuding anger. I desired to conceal myself, but the horn blew, a ant challenging me to confront her. Steeling myself, I walked outside. "Can I assist you?" I exclaimed. Standing at a distance, Diane's eyes narrowed. "You erected this fence," she snapped. "Open it presently. I am in a hurry." Her tone was a whip, cracking my determination. "This is personal property," I replied, beating fast. "The gate remains." She moved closer, finger poking. "Do you know who I am? I'm HOA vice president. This road's been ours for years. You don't get to block it, little girl." Her words hurt, little girl, as if my pregnancy made me less. "You're new, so let me educate you." She sneered. "You don't belong here, modifying our rules." My throat constricted, tears pricking. "This is an HOA land," I retorted. "It's mine, and it's been private for 70 years. She laughed, a cold sawing noise. "Your rights? You're destroying this community. The HOA will destroy you." When I told her harassment, She laughed. Harassment. You just wait and see. This gate comes down, or you'll be sorry. I opened my mouth to reply, but she whipped out her phone calling 911 with dramatic flourish. I need an officer at Maple Lane, she said, glowering. This woman's blocking a public street illegally and refusing to obey. My knees turned to water. She was deceiving the police, using them to intimidate me. As she hung up smiling, she taunted, "They're on their way. Let's see what the law says about your gate." I stood immobile, hands on my stomach, fear and rage vying inside me. This had nothing to do with a road. It was about control, and Diane was determined to shatter me. 15 minutes later, red and blue lights flashed across the driveway. A police cruiser pulled up, and Diane summoned the officer over like she'd called a night. "Officer," she exclaimed, pointing toward the gate. "She's taking up a public road the community has used for decades. Make her take it down." The officer, a gray-haired man with a calm demeanor, eyed her melodrama and me. "Ma'am, you all right?" he said gently. Tears filled up weeks of tension coming crashing down. "I'm pregnant," I did. "We purchased this house for protection, but they're treating our property like a highway." His face relaxed. "Breathe. Take it from me. What's going on?" His goodness was a lifeline. I explained the deed, the private status, the trespassing, the gate. Diane interrupted. "She's lying. This road's always been ours." The officer shut her up with a raised hand. Reading the documents, I handed him our deed. Maps proof the road hadn't been public since Eisenhower's time. "These are clear," he said, handing them back. He turned to Diane. "This is private property. They can limit access, trespassing laws apply, and you might be cited." Diane's face blushed. "But we've used it for years. It's a community need." He shook his head. "Doesn't matter. It's private now to me," he added. "Document everything. Call us if this continues." He led Diane away, her protests ringing. "This isn't over," she spat, glaring as she drove off. I stood shivering, relief blending with dread. Back in the nursery, I whispered to my belly, "What world am I bringing you into?" The sanctuary we dreamed of felt fragile, but surrender wasn't an option. Diane didn't quit. The next day, an HOA letter demanded we take down the gate, citing community disruption. We countered with legal citations, refusing to move. Then came a torrent of urgent letters, each more threatening, claiming we were degrading neighborhood standards. Diane's handwritten note swore, "Reopen or face legal recourse." She organized a mob of HOA supporters to demonstrate in front of our house, brandishing signs such as "Open the road" and "Respect our HOA." They marched around our lawn, faces contorted with indignant fury. One afternoon, Ethan confronted Diane as she yelled above his lawnmower. "You're trespassing," he said quietly. Her eyes blazed, but she stormed off shouting, "This isn't over." Petty assaults followed. Complaints about noise from music, trod flowers. Even a neighbor removing a ladder, grumbling about avoiding trouble. I felt watched whispers trailing me like shadows. Was it worth it? Maybe we should have caved, but looking at our driveway defiant against their entitlement, I couldn't surrender. Exhausted, I suggested going public. Ethan hesitated. "Let's try everything else first," he said, his resolve my anchor. He pored over property laws, drafting responses, reminding me we were fighting for our family's future. At an HOA meeting billed as a resolution, we walked into a trap. The clubhouse was akin to a courtroom. Diane at the board's table, smiling like a queen. She began with a speech attacking us for endangering community harmony by selfishly impeding critical access. Murmurs ran. He gestured to us, challenging us to speak. Ethan stood offering our deed maps and video of trespassers. "This road's been private since the 50s, he declared. "The HOA has no jurisdiction." I added, "This is about safety. We're starting a family, and strangers on our property threaten that." Silence dropped. A board member, an older man, spoke. "Their papers are sound, Diane. We can't make this stick." Her face reened. "It's about principle," she snapped. "They're interrupting us." But another member, a younger woman, nodded at me. "I admire your bravery." Diane's cool broke. "This is personal," she shouted. "The HOA president. Mr. Callahan interrupted. The homeowners are within their rights. We'll talk to legal counsel. No vote tonight. Diane's rage was evident, but we'd broken her armor. As we parted, Ethan squeezed my hand. She's losing, he whispered. I nodded, but apprehension hung. There, Diane wouldn't go quietly. The fallout was dynamite. Neighbors gossiped. Her supporters defected. At the next meeting, the clubhouse overflowed. Mr. Callahan declared, the homeowners at 42 Maple Lane are in compliance. The HOA has no jurisdiction here. Gasps echoed. Then the bombshell. Because of divisive behavior, Diane has resigned as vice president. She sprang up, voice trembling. I've only done what's best. Callahan remained unimpressed. We cannot condone exceeding rights. Diane stormed out her departure, a clap of thunder. Neighbors came to us, some apologizing, others commending our position. You were right, an old lady said. Another, once Diane's friend, acknowledged she too far went. Peace settled like dust after a storm. The HOA wrote a letter confirming our rights, and Diane disappeared from sight. Our driveway, once a battleground, became our safe haven once more. Sitting on the porch, gazing out at the sun's descent, I rested against Ethan. We did it, I said. He grinned. No one's stealing this from us. This battle taught me to hold strong, particularly as a mother to-be. Diane's bullying, her lies, her gang, her 911 call against our determination and the truth. Our home is ours. The gate remains closed, and our baby will grow up safe within the safety we fought for. Some battles are worth fighting, and this one proved.